Hello, this is Fi. We're checking out Cats That Will Kill You. This is a game I have not played before. We're going to give it a playtest, see if we can give some useful feedback. I got the game page open here. It says roguelike cat FPS. Important, will add Mac and Linux support soon. There's no saving currently. The continue game button does nothing. There's really not much to do other than explore. The map is random each time you die or start a new game, but aside from exploring, getting new guns and power-ups, and killing enemies, there is no objective. Game balancing is still being worked on. The game can be quite hard at times, especially before finding a gun. Less important minimap icons, and the minimap itself can be rotated weirdly, so can the player at the start of the game. There are rare issues with pathfinding and other oddities. Sorry about the noise, my cat's playing in the background here. Hopefully nothing that makes the game unplayable. I'm going to adjust my microphone real quick here, a little closer. All right. Pardon me, so let's go ahead and jump into this. Hope the cat isn't too annoying, but what can you do? Let's go ahead and drop the overlay. I've not seen anything past the screen. So it looks like we've got a sort of a CRT effect with this sort of pillowing. Some sound effects here. We got new game, continue game, which apparently doesn't work, I guess. Settings, let's see if that works. Sensitivity change in game, field of view change in game. Interesting. I don't really understand why that would have to be the case, but we got volume right here. Back video is in a separate page. It looks like, oh, that was interesting. The screen kind of flickered there, as if it was like switching to a different resolution or to full screen or something. It was kind of weird that it would do that. Quality set to very high. This is, oh. Okay, I don't know what this looks like in the capture at the moment, but I think what happened is for some reason, when I clicked into this settings menu, it like switched back to like borderless window mode. Because what happened is that this was enabled, but when I turned it off, it went into windowed mode, but it didn't do that kind of screen flicker thing that you get when you switch between exclusive full screen and not exclusive full screen. So I think it was in borderless window mode for some reason, and then like when I ticked that off, it went into windowed mode, and then now when I tick this on, it goes into exclusive full screen because I can see the screen flickering. So I'm assuming that's some kind of a funny little bug in there or something. I think it would probably be sensible to have a separate option for if you want exclusive full screen versus borderless windowed mode, because some people like that. This being an FPS, I would much prefer it in exclusive, which I think it is, so that's good, because the reduction in input latency. But yeah, just pointing that out. It does seem like you could fit all this on one screen instead of having two different ones. I don't know if you have other options that you want to put in here, but I'm just pointing that out. But yeah, it looks okay. Let's go ahead and click on new game and see what happens. So, oh, okay, yeah. Sensitivity feels way too high. There is some motion blur I'm noticing. So now we can change this. All right, so this I would prefer to have a number associated with this. For one thing, so I kind of have an idea what I'm setting it to, because you know I have like an idea from other games I play. Like I'd probably just want to set it to 120, for instance, if that's what I was used to playing on some other game. But here I can't really do that. I have to kind of eyeball it, which I don't feel very confident about. Another thing is that this slider does feel very continuous, so I have a bit of an issue with this kind of thing. Oh, actually, yeah, even the sensitivity should definitely have some kind of numerical value as well. But the issue with... Oh, that'll actually jump to where you click on it too. But the issue with having these sliders being continuous like this, for some reason it... Oh, I see. The slider kind of goes to the right of the where you click with the cursor rather than centering it. But the issue with having these continuous, as opposed to like kind of snapping to discrete values, is for instance, if I say I have this set to something and then I'm like, okay, well maybe I want to just bump it up a notch or two. and try that out, and then I do it and I'm like, oh well, no, I don't like that, I want to put it back to where it was. I can't really do that because there's no like way I can discern where it was from before or anything like that. So making decisions like that about how to set these becomes kind of impossible because there's no discrete values to actually set this to. It's all continuous, and your brain can't really process that in a meaningful way. Or it's like, um, say you've been playing the game for like 100 hours and you have like a specific setting that you set this to, and then for some reason your settings get wiped or something, like you had to reinstall the game or something, and you can't set it back to where it was because there's no understanding of where it was. You just have to kind of try and guess and try and play the game and get the feel for it and that kind of thing. So it's really annoying, actually. In any case, we're gonna have to try to make do with what we got here. All right, yeah, lots of motion blur. I need to set this lower. Lots of motion blur, and it does feel like there's some significant input latency as well. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it feels kind of weird. I think I'm so used to playing with less input latency that whenever I end up trying to play with it, it feels like there's like mouse acceleration or something. It just feels so inaccurate to what I want to try and do. It's like really annoying. So that's kind of unfortunate. I'm not sure um, how precise you need to be with the shooting and aiming and quick aiming and stuff like that. So we'll find that out. But as it is, that's a bit unfortunate. Oh, okay. Well, whoa. All right. Okay. All right. So it seems like you die pretty much instantly, which is interesting. I think starting out, I'm assuming these are health. So if you start out with only one of these, it makes sense, I guess, that you would die in one hit in a certain sense. So obviously the developer mentioned issues with the balance of the game, but yeah, definitely if there's like these enemies that just appear around edges and they're already hitting you before you even see them, that's something I would be concerned about. The volume actually seems really quiet now that I think about it. I'm checking my own volume levels here. So I don't know if you can even hear it in the capture. I usually have to like turn down the game volume a bit so people can hear me talk, and it's much more common for people to make the mistake of making the game too loud rather than too quiet. But yeah, I'm really not digging the motion blur, especially with how some of the stuff all kind of blends in. Like this doesn't stand out much from the rest of the environment. So like with the blur involved, it's like when you're turning the camera, you can't even discern anything is there. You know what I mean? It's really quite distracting. Here's an ammo thing. I don't know if these do anything. It looks like I can... Oh, I guess that's just a claw attack. Looks like there's quite a bit of cooldown on that before I can do it again. For some reason, left control also attacks. Not sure what the idea is there, but yeah. So I was trying to see if I could crouch. It's maybe not strictly necessary in this game to have crouching, but it's one of these things like in a first-person game, I just want to be able to do that, just for the sake of like feeling like that extra bit of control. It's just something you get so used to from it being in like virtually every game. So I think that'd be nice to have. Yeah, I'm just trying to see like it. I guess there aren't like many sound effects implemented yet or anything, so definitely will make a big difference in terms of your general awareness of enemies around you and stuff. Like you might not just like turn around a corner and there'd be an enemy right here, because presumably you'd hear it long before you got there, right? So hopefully that'll be the case, but that's, you know, something to keep in mind. That helps a lot with that sort of game balance things. I do notice it seems like it'd be very easy to get mixed up and lost in here, but they do have a nice, looks like a pretty robust mini map in the top right, so that'll make a big difference, I'm sure. Without that, I would be like, where the heck am I? But yeah, the lack of audio is kind of hurting. So I guess there's turrets that just shoot directly at you, and then there's the spinning thing. I don't have the ability to jump, I guess, which is kind of weird. I mean, I guess I can try and run around that, like this sort of thing. Can I just, okay. It's pretty jarring when you just, okay, those enemies just spawn right there. Wow, yeah, and they attack that quickly. I don't know if he was like sharding his attack before he went around the corner or something, because it's like, it's pretty much as soon as he was visible, I attacked him, but he was already hitting me with his attack, so it was kind of annoying. Wow, yeah, see, they're not like waiting. So I guess ideally what they would do is they would wait to attack until they are within line of sight with you, and then like within line of sight for a given amount of time, and then do the attack, right? So they have like a little reaction period. So that's something that's of course really important for balance, is giving enemies this kind of reaction period, whereas with this it's like they can just shoot me instantly because I don't know when the attack is coming or not. And I don't know, because this guy just kind of spews bullets constantly and all I have is a melee attack. Obviously getting close to him is going to be dangerous because he's constantly spewing bullets directly at me, so it doesn't seem like I have like an actual way to fight him properly without a gun. I guess that was another thing that was mentioned by the developer, but you can work around that by, for instance, sort of a general rule of thumb is usually if you have enemies that just spew a continuous stream of bullets and just never stop, it's usually better if you have them like shoot and then have like a period of pause before they shoot again. So you might have them, you know, maybe even have like a little burst, like maybe they shoot 3 bullets and then like stop for a bit and then shoot 3 bullets and that kind of thing. And what that does is it creates a window wherein the player can act and avoid getting damage and you know, counterattack or whatever they have to do. So that's something to consider. I don't know what this is either. Yeah, I can't, it doesn't seem to suggest its purpose just looking at it. Right, more of these guys that are very difficult to deal with. Oh, I don't know why I just jumped to the left a bit there. That was kind of strange. I don't know if he's not trying to. It looks like when you get within a certain range, he doesn't try to follow you anymore, which means I can't like coax him around this corner, unfortunately. I don't know if it would help much because the way he just spews bullets constantly, but. All right, yeah, oh, I think I might have hit him. All right, so the melee does feel very weak. I know my aim is all jacked up, but the melee does feel very weak, and I think there's a couple of obvious reasons for that. One is the fact that it has such a long cooldown time, which can be kind of frustrating if you're in a situation where you have to rely on this. That means you have to get really close. It's easy to, like, things can get a little crazy because the way the aiming ends up being and like little movements make a big difference. It's easy to kind of miss your target and then you immediately want to follow up, but it takes such a long time for this to let you attack again. That can be kind of frustrating. The other thing is I suspect that the range is not that far. I mean, I'm just looking at it here, it seems kind of reasonable, I suppose. I don't know if you're doing like a raycast sort of thing with the aiming, and I don't know where the colliders are on the enemies and stuff, so what I'm looking for is this feeling of like, did it feel like that attack should have hit when it didn't? So for instance, a lot of people, they do melee attacks in FPS games with like a raycast straight out of the camera, which in my opinion is something that feels really lousy because just because you had the crosshair like over the guy's shoulder or something doesn't mean that you can't hit them at point blank with a baseball bat. You know what I mean? It's like baseball bats don't act like raycasts do, if that makes sense to you. So that's, I mean, that's a pretty common mistake. So what the alternative I suggest is just to use like a big collider in front of the character instead of that. But it does look like you can kind of squeeze between some of these. And nope, this one spins too fast, so I can't like run around without trying to maneuver between the bullets like a bullet hell here. So that's interesting. I don't know that like sort of quote unquote bullet hell concepts ever really work that great in first person. Obviously if I had a jump, that would be like the way to the way to approach this. I was just checking the game page real quick. It does look like when you alt tab back in, it kind of messes with your view for whatever reason. But yeah, it's a very strange feeling to not be able to jump, in my opinion. But yeah, this is quite ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know about that, but let's go ahead and see if we can get to a point where we can get like a weapon. Wow, okay. Yeah, so it's annoying when you don't know that the enemies are there. And again with these... Okay. Yeah, so I'm having some issue with the latency with the aiming. So when you're stuck with this this melee attack, you have to do kind of these pretty big movements because you have to get in so close to the enemy. So for me, it's natural to like do something of like a flick, like to kind of run in close and then do something of a flick, I guess, and you'd call it, to kind of move the camera quickly into where or move the crosshair into where the enemy is and click and hit them. And with the amount of input latency, along with like how close you are to the enemy and everything, it I don't know, it just felt like I was probably not even hitting the guy at all. Like I was probably completely off with the aim for some reason, and it's really screwing me up. So unfortunately, it's a bit hard for me to play with that much input latency on the aiming, and with everything else the way it is. That's just, one more reason why I'm just going to die a lot, it appears. The bottom left, it does show claws. I guess this is the weapon that I have. It shows a little infinity sign. Alright, this thing is doing whatever it's doing. I'm hoping there's not any other enemies in here, because it would be like impossible to deal with this and literally anything else simultaneously. Can I just... Oh, this thing doesn't even respond to... I actually thought I could jump on that for a moment. I can't really wrap my head around the idea that I can't jump in a game like this. It's like just so universal. But yeah, I guess these things actually can't get killed, so that would be a factor. And I assume that other one that I tried to kill, that wasn't the same as this, but presumably that wasn't going to respond to the claws either. So it's a bit unfortunate. You can kind of weave between these guys' bullets, but yeah, again, getting into range with your claw attack means that you can't really avoid their attacks anymore. This feels so... what's the right wording here? It's like in games you want to feel kind of powerful and effective, and I feel like I'm just completely worthless trying to fight these guys. What is that? It's like a Darth Vader cat or something, holding a knife. I guess it's just a hood. I just, from a distance, I guess I associated the black hood and the cape and the red sword type thing with Darth Vader. Gosh darn this guy again. But yeah, it definitely feels like my attacks aren't even hitting most of the time, which is just, it just feels kind of ridiculous. Like, how could I possibly miss something so easy? You know what I mean? Um, so that is health, it appears. Yeah, aiming just feels so jacked up. And yeah, I haven't like seen any guns or anything. Oh gosh, that was just luck there. I guess I'm just gonna run around a bit here. It's kind of disappointing you can't kill the turret things. I guess it just went back to the start. Oh gosh. But yeah, just they obviously pose quite a threat, and if there was, like I kind of mentioned before, if there's like any other enemies or something in the same room as that, it would be very out of hand very quickly. So it seems to make sense that you would want to kill it to get rid of it. Just kind of handle the situation that way. Gosh darn it. Ah, I don't see any weapons. Oh crap. Ow! No. Gosh darn it. Yeah, so I don't know. Presumably there's supposed to be like power-ups some kind, and obviously weapons were mentioned. But I don't know how far I'm supposed to get before that happens. Or like it just seems completely hopeless to try to, well, actually try and kill anything. And yeah, okay, the dudes with the knives, that was the first thing that killed me. They basically have killed you before you know they exist. That's what it seems like. They're kind of, I think all the enemies know where you are, like through the walls and stuff. And that's one thing it kind of seems like. And then they don't have like a reaction period or anything. They're just already attacking you by the time you're aware of them. So it ends up feeling really bad for that reason, unfortunately. Oh gosh, that was a kind of a case in point there. Wow. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So yeah, I would like to try out like a gun or something. Just anything different that is presumably in the game, but I don't know. Excuse me, I don't know how to get to that point. It did mention that levels were randomized. I'm guessing this does give me a sense of it could be like pre-made blocks that are stuck together, or it could just be that the whole levels are kind of designed beforehand and it's just choosing a random one. It does. There is a sense of familiarity around each one. I don't know, where the heck am I supposed to go here? This is the starting room. Might be nice to have some kind of icon on the mini map to indicate the starting room. I didn't notice there's like an empty space over here somewhere. I don't know if maybe there's like a secret door or something, you know? That'd be cool. I guess I'm supposed to go this way. Okay, it does indicate enemies. Wow, that guy's super fast too. It does indicate the enemies on the minimap, but they definitely are looking at you through the walls, so that's kind of unfortunate. So even though I can, in theory, see them through the walls by watching the minimap, gosh darn. I don't need that. Oh, that's an actual health up thing. Gosh darn it. I think these guys actually... Can you... Okay. I think they die in one hit, but oh gosh darn it. Apart from my super jacked up aim, I think you can like attack the actual bullets out of the air, which is interesting, but it's also kind of annoying because it appears that there's some situations where I'm trying to kill a guy and I end up just kind of getting blocked by the bullet that they're shooting, which is frustrating because it's like it definitely feels like I'm in range and everything to kill the guy, but then I do it and it just like it doesn't hit him, and it's like, you know, that's kind of frustrating. So it's kind of an unusual sort of thing. But I think the enemies are actually just dying in one hit. I just can't actually hit them. So wow, okay. Wow. The minimap is crazy right now. There's just like all these rooms, these turrets that are thankfully fairly easy to avoid, but like I was trying to find a way through the... Gosh darn it. Okay, so another thing is that's awful. Okay, so another thing I mentioned before, the idea of like using a collider instead of a ray cast for melee attacks. Well, I guess this you can do this with even with a ray cast in theory, but what I was going to say is just having the attack be active for more than one frame can make a really big difference. So maybe just like 5 or 10 frames or something can make it feel a lot better in terms of being able to hit enemies. Obviously, there's other reasons why I can't hit the enemies very well, but there's I feel like there's situations where just having a few more active frames. Do you know what I mean by active frames? It's like, you know, a period of time in which the collision for the attack is still active. So instead of it being exactly one frame that it checks if it hits or misses, it'll be like a few frames that it'll keep checking, and then if it collides in any of those frames, then it'll count as hitting the attack. Ooh, hello. So that's something to consider. Bleh. Yeah, I mean, I feel kind of bad because I want to. I can't aim. Oof. Okay. I don't know what that was, but wait, is that a gun? I think there might be a gun on the other side of this wall. Looking at the mini map. So I was gonna say I feel kind of bad because I haven't been able to. Oh, they're all trying to go through the walls. They're not even like pathing around them properly. I can't. Oh my gosh, I can't aim. Can't hit him. Okay. So yeah, unfortunately, like the one time where it looked like I had a chance. Oh wait, there's a gun. 11 ammo. It looks like. Oh gosh, darn. All right. Well, we did get a gun. Oh god, I can't. One of the annoying bits is that like I'm trying to attack, and then like when I aim and I click, it's like the attack didn't fully cool down yet. You know what I mean? So it's like it comes out later than I need it to, because that cooldown time is quite long, and you don't. There's nothing really indicating like when it finishes the cooldown, if you know what I mean. So if I'm trying to attack quickly, it's hard to time that. So when I miss time it, that also is one more reason why I can't aim the thing, because it's like I move the mouse and then I click, and then it's like the attack doesn't come out yet. It comes out like 20 frames later or something when the cursor is already off the target. So yeah, I beat the hell out of that dead horse, but looks like this purple goo. Ouch. So yeah, I don't know if I should keep going with this. Looks like we're not gonna get much further than we've got right here. I can't aim it. This is honestly kind of annoying. I mean, I know you can kind of sneak between these if you're... I don't know, it's like half luck, half coordination, I guess. That was really bad, but that's okay. Yeah, that's very hard to avoid those kinds of bullets with confidence. Well, I knew that guy was there, but I didn't expect him to dash forward that quickly. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. I'm just gonna like keep saying the same things over and over again if I keep going at this point, unfortunately. But hopefully this was useful for you. And yeah, I mean, there's pretty obvious things to that would improve the experience a lot, just in terms of make the enemies behave in ways that you know, create these openings for the player to deal with, and then obviously being able to aim accurately with it. I don't even know how the developer is playing with this much latency on the input and everything. And yeah, I don't like the blur. I would just turn that right off, honestly. But yeah, hopefully that was useful for you. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video.